Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and today I'm going to be reviewing a movie which I'm not too fond of, to be honest. And that's going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009.
6 guys to lift 1 stick. That's one for the books.
2 years ago,
Help me!
he disappeared.
I know he's not gonna come back just because of some stupid holiday.
Are you a giant?
But on August 28th, one town will discover
Sheriff, I just got a 911 call from your house.
that evil
There's blood
never forgets. Halloween 2. This film is not yet rated.
I only saw this movie once. Well, scratch that, I saw it 3 times. That's it. Honestly, I think it's the Halloween movie I watched the least. Hell, I even watch Halloween Resurrection more than this, so that's saying a lot. Now, let's try to delve into the plot of this movie. There even is a plot, or either there's a plot there, or Rob Zombie was too high and totally forgot to put a plot in. Just basically wrote anything he's thought of or saw while he was on a drug trip. So yeah. So basically takes place immediately after the first remake. Kind of like how the original Halloween 2 took place immediately after the original Halloween. And we see Laurie Strode being taken to a hospital. Once again portrayed by Scout Taylor Compton. So, and also we end up seeing Michael being put in a body bag and apparently taken to a morgue, which Michael Myers is yet again portrayed by Tyler Mane. So, and basically he's being driven by these two, just one of the most types of despicable people you could think of. Honestly, I would say they're even worse than Michael Myers himself, to be honest. When one of them is talking about Linda and wanting to basically bang her corpse and that, and it's like, sorry, that kind of made me throw up just a tad bit. Like, seriously, what the fuck, dude? You know? So, like, seriously, ugh. And then you get to the hospital. They're operating on Laurie Strode, fixing her wounds and that, and it's just gross out to be gross out, you know? There's no reason for it. The movie could have perfectly done as good, if not even better, if they didn't show that. It was unnecessary. So, you basically, and turns out Andy's alive, portrayed yet again by Daniel Harris. So yeah, and basically it's like, it doesn't get too long until Michael Myers enters the hospital, starts killing people. So, which I would say is not too bad. It's not too bad of a sequence. In fact, it's kind of awesome sequencing, you know? And it's like the original Halloween 2, and I was like, when I'm watching it, it's like, okay, other than the whole necrophilia asshole back there and that, it's looking pretty good. So, oh, and the surgery scene, other than those two things, pretty good, honestly. And then it's almost like it's too good to be true, you know? And then it turns out it's a dream sequence. It was a nightmare, basically. Which, I mean, I don't mind as much as most people, because it's like, you know, I get where Rob Zombie was coming from, you know, to show. Basically, his whole thing with this movie was trying to show how the events of the first movie affected the survivors of that movie, and you know how it's affecting not just them but the people around them, and that honestly could be a really good idea to go for in one of these movies. So like it could have been really interesting, you know. But you basically got Laurie you got Laurie who's actually living with the Brackets, which like living with Annie and uh, Lee Brackett, Sheriff Lee Brackett, and who Sheriff Brackett is yet again portrayed by Brad Dourif, which I don't know. I don't care what you say. I would say that's one of the core things about the Rob Zombie films is getting Brad Dourif in this series. It's basically the closest thing you could have got to Chucky versus Michael Myers. It's kind of awesome, to be honest. It's like if you end up casting Robert Englund as Dr. Loomis, and that would be probably the closest thing you could get to Freddy versus Michael Myers. So, but yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, so she's living with the Brackets. So yeah, and Laura gets into constant fights with Annie, and to me, she just like not trying to be offensive or anything here, but she's just kind of comes off to me as a bitch, you know, like, you know, just screaming, yelling, annoying bitch, you know, not someone you would want to be rooting for, honestly, you know, not someone you care about. So yeah, and she has all these kinds of nightmares, and that even like she even says to her psychiatrist, portrayed by Margot Kidder, which, from what I've heard, when I think of good psychiatry, I always think of Margot Kidder. So yeah. So yeah. And basically, Laurie admits that she kind of fantasizes about killing Annie, and basically thinks it's because she's a constant reminder of that night, and she feels guilty about what happened. And then it's like, okay, I kind of get it, just a tad bit. Oh yeah, and then you got Michael Myers, who still alive, is trying to reunite with his sister, and that this time he's doesn't really wear his iconic costume a lot, which I don't mind. You know, at least do something different. You know, I don't honestly mind the hobo look too much. You know, Because, I mean, in real life, he probably would be a hobo. Just saying. Now, what I do mind is they showed too much of him. That's also was my problem in the first remake. So, it makes it less scary, to be honest. But now, as far as going for a realistic approach, and not making him supernatural and all that, blah, 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 not too awfully bad. And you get, honestly, I think Rob Zombie put this stuff in the movie because he was all drugged out while writing the script. If he even wrote a script or he just basically wrote some studio notes and it's like, okay, we'll just use this as a script. And that's that Michael sees visions of his mother, played again by Sherry Moon Zombie, and she's dressed basically almost like a Lord of the Rings character, to be honest with you. And she's always stands next to a white horse for some reason, which Rob Zombie tries to use the white horse thing as some sort of reasoning behind psychotic behavior or something like that. I don't know. I don't freaking know. And apparently, I just think Rob Zombie does not know how mental health works. I mean, I understand it more so than he does, because I will admit I have a few medical issues. Certain not really mental issues. They're just more kind of disabilities. So, but yeah, so I understand that way more so than probably Rob Zombie does. So, yeah, and basically it's just Michael Myers trying to reunite his family and that, and it's so yeah, and also there's Dr. Loomis who's still alive, portrayed again by Malcolm McDowell, and he's basically wrote a book based on the events of the first film, and basically is just doing stuff like book tours and all that stuff, and just making money off all that stuff. And he just is if you thought it sometimes the original Dr. Loomis could be a bit of a dick, and even Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Loomis a bit of a dick, this is probably the most dickish version of Dr. Loomis I've ever seen. Even treats his assistant like crap, and it's and basically everybody around him, and it's and all he cares is about his book sales and that, and it's and he was the honestly the best part of the first movie, and it's Rob Zombie, you kind of turned him into the worst part of this movie. So yeah, and apparently it's so bad to even where the father Linda comes in and tries to kill Dr. Loomis while appearing at one of his book signings. So yeah. And here's the thing I don't get. Why does Rob Zombie feel the need to make almost every single character purely unlikable, just, I mean, listen, if you could have some despicable characters in a movie, I get that. Makes it more exciting for when the killer kills them off, But you would want your main characters to be likable too. Relatable, great personalities, and generally people you care about. You could see these as real people, and that you don't want to see die, so. And if one of them dies, then it would be, first of all, a real shock, and second of all, it would be something that's really sad, Yeah, and it's just, but yeah, he makes them so unlikable to where you are actually rooting for the killer. So yeah. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, and knowing that some people complain that Rob Zombie uses just even down to the point he uses his wife again in different movies and his mainly friends and that. Honestly, I don't mind it, And honestly, I kind of give him a bit of respect for that because for me, I do that, In my movies, I use my friends and family. In fact, at some point soon, when my girlfriend comes down here, you would probably end up seeing her in my movies too. So yeah, I get that, I get that why he does that, and I kind of respect him for it, and at the same time, I will admit, if I were to ever make a full-on movie, and try to make it really good, I honestly think my actors could probably end up being better than some of his actors, just to be completely honest. So yeah. But honestly, I think the music is pretty generic. You could slap it on with any other generic music, and you don't hear the Halloween themes really at all, except for the end credits. That's it. So yeah, I would probably give this movie I don't know. I would probably give it because I could admire for what Rob Zombie was trying to do with this movie. But at the same time, the execution was just poor. It was very poor. And yeah, so I would just give it 2 stars. And I think that's being fair enough. There are some good things about it, but the bad shadows the good. So yeah. So yeah, just it's a fucking shit show, So yeah, so that's my review of Rob Zombie's Fuckoween 2, as I sometimes call it, Hey, if I'm going to do a Rob Zombie film review, I should probably, probably wouldn't hurt just to cuss a lot, So, yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye.